Good morning, everybody. It's Yankee Wally here. It's coming up to 1 a.m. in the morning, GMT. Well, it's in 1 hour's time that Elon Musk is interviewing Donald Trump on X. If you're on X, you don't have to be a genius. Just go on to Elon Musk's Twitter page, X page, and it'll be live broadcast or something, and you just click on that and you can listen in. I'm going to be doing that because I'm very interested at the moment, because would you believe that, let me just show you this letter. Such a cheeky letter. Here we go. It's from the European Commission to Elon Musk. And you can obviously halt this and read it. It's today's date on it from Thierry, which is French for Terry, Breton, which is French for Britain. So it's Terry Britain. And he's warning him that if he, basically they're trying to shut down free speech. This is what it says. And this is why I feel so cross about it, you know. If they can do it at a server level, they can cut you off from a particular platform, be it Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I know they can do it, but I also know that you can use a VNP, a virtual VPN, virtual private network, which can make it look as though you and your computer or your phone are in another country, and you don't have to pay for any of those. There's free ones. I can always put a link up if you want, but it's not going to come to that. Elon Musk doesn't take threats seriously. He doesn't take kindly to them. When you've shelled out, is it 47 billion to buy a company called Twitter, and I thank the Lord that he did, then who the hell can tell you who you can allow to be on your platform, and you've got to censor everything that they say? Elon bought that platform, Twitter, purely to give everyone free speech. Maybe Elon saw this trouble coming, although I don't believe that he could see the riots or that horrible Rwandan man that was born in Cardiff, I'm ashamed to say, stabbed those 3 little girls in Southport. Here's some more bad news as well. Today, another 11-year-old girl was stabbed in London, and this is the fella that actually didn't save them, but he saved that man going on to do even more damage. He jumped on top of him. And, surprise, surprise, the perpetrator was white, and the man that saved them was that man there, and his name's Abdullah. He worked in the tea shop they were right outside, and he stabbed a 34-year-old woman and an 11-year-old child. And he was from one of the Eastern Bloc countries. Wasn't British again, but he was white. I think I've got a picture of him somewhere. Let me just see yeah, there he is. You see, they've got him in handcuffs. A Slovakian or something, is he? There he is. Oh, and there's the tea shop there as well. And they're in hospital now. I don't know. They haven't died. But the riots that we had in UK, it doesn't take Einstein to work it out. The people have put up with so much. We seem to be getting denigrated if we are white and middle class, or white and working class, I should say. It seems to be that in order not to offend the immigrants, that we've got to take second place to them. I tell you, I know it sounds ridiculous, but that is exactly what's happening. It's exactly what's happening in the UK, and I don't know what to do about it. But don't worry about it, as long as we keep our firm beliefs in what we believe in. Hold on one sec. I'm back. Our bloody Prime Minister, this Keir Starmer, he's not... There we are, Keir Starling. He's only been in 4 weeks, and he's kind of putting down a lot of hard and fast laws, and they're not very nice. It's all about duct tape in your mouth, all of us, you and me. I don't ever threaten to kill anyone online. I've never even threatened anybody online not to kill anyway. I suppose I've maybe said, if I see you in my area, I'll punch you on the nose. I may have said that, but nothing really serious, you know. But he's actually trying to put people in prison that were just bystanders at the riot, you know. I mean, if they started rioting outside my flat here or in the main street, which is not 10 yards from my flat, and I would probably be out there looking, because I'd want to see if it's getting better or worse. Are the police coming? Is something being done? Can I do anything to help? You know. But if I get caught ogling at a riot, I can be jailed. That's a bit heavy-handed, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure it won't come to that. But we've got to really consider now that the world is not as big as we used to think it was when we were little. Because of the internet, we're all connected. And the EU has got around about 600 million people in it. We left the EU in 2016. And I stupidly thought that that would mean that the boats would automatically stop. These illegal, not irregular immigrants, illegal immigrants coming in. You know, today, 738 came over. No women, no children, just men. And they get on these blow-up dinghies from Amazon. They get about 70 people. Yeah, there were 11 boats today. It was 11 boats and 738 people. It's the summer and the boats. So, America is having the same trouble over their borders. And I also found out something today. Way back in America now, going back to 2005, I think, a law was passed in America that if any illegal immigrants were found coming over the border or committing a criminal act, the law was that the border control officers had to take their DNA as a matter of formality, a buccal swab, which costs around about $4 apparently. You put it in your mouth and you rub it 3 times on your cheek. Then they seal it and send it away, and they can process those within 72 hours. Well, I don't like having anybody's DNA or fingerprints on record. If you're innocent, you can actually not like that at all, because you don't want to ever be accused of something that you didn't do. But after I went to prison in 2005 and I had my DNA taken and my fingerprints taken, I realised then that they weren't always going to be on record. And then when I thought about it some more, I thought, well, I'm hardly likely. In fact, if anything, it's going to exonerate me from anything, because my fingerprints are mine and my DNA is mine. So if anybody is innocent, I don't see what the big deal is about. So I agree with the fact that if somebody's coming over the border and their papers are out of order or then the USA Border Control can take their DNA. Here's the problem. They've never implemented it. Never. And subsequently, as a result of that, people have died in America, as you can imagine. Not sure of the figures. But I'll tell you where I got this information from. I'll show you now, because I actually saved a bit of video footage as well. But, where is it now? Let me just show you. I was absolutely shocked, to be honest. I thought, well, oh, here we are. This is it. There we are. C_Herridge. Leaked government memo confirmed by whistleblowers. They exposed the federal DNA collection law was not followed for immigration violations. And American deaths were preventable. I've actually got a 10-minute video here, and I listened to it. You don't need to listen to it, but this woman here, she's a journalist investigator. She's realised that in 2005, they were supposed to take DNA, and then they would find out if somebody had any previous convictions, exactly who they really, really were. So their laziness, or was it orders that they weren't to do it, has, and here's the reports here. You can pause this and take a look at it. That's page 1. And then there's another page there. That's just notes that Catherine Herridge took. I was quite shocked because if we had such laws on our borders, on our land at Dover, where the illegal immigrants come over, I would most definitely say give them a DNA swab, swab them, swab them, swab them, find out who they are. If I had, or if they had the law behind them to enable them to do it, and they had all the kits, these £4, that's all they cost, these buccal swab kits, in their office or on their person to do it, then why not do it? Because this is the argument that we've had all along. We don't know where they're from. We don't know who they are. They throw their documents away. I'm really against illegal immigrants. I don't care if they're white or black. I don't care. I just don't like people coming in when you don't know who they are. And America had this safety net available to them, and they didn't implement it. Well, I can't believe it. I don't know who's at fault here. I haven't got a clue. But it's just something worth thinking about. The UK Police Commissioner threatens to extradite US citizens over online posts. We'll come after you. America, all I can say is I am embarrassed. I am so sorry. I'm ashamed. I feel everything. But more than anything, more than all of that, I feel jealous. I feel so jealous that you've got... Well, there's a light at the end of your tunnel. I can see ours is going a bit bleak at the moment, like a bloody Welsh coal mine. And they're talking about, again, like I said, there's 600 million people in the European Union. There's only 360 million people in America. There's about 60 million people in UK. And so, when we're talking about populations, but I think it's more than that. This is now a power game. And I think Meghan Markle is probably hop, skipping and jumping tonight, feeling as though she's behind it. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if on her next speech she takes credit for this. You know what she's like. But it isn't. It's come from the sad death of those 3 girls, which has caused the riots in UK. Because, and I know some of them went too far. The Middlesbrough riot was shocking. They went too far. But of course, we've never claimed to be the most intelligent bunch of Brits. In fact, we're not. There's a lot of people in Britain that are absolutely dumb. And they just want an excuse to go looting and go stealing and smashing windows and just being thugs. That's awful. But the riots themselves were fine, I thought, anyway, just making your presence known and making sure that the police realise that you're not happy with the illegal immigrants. Anyway, that's that. So, I know that, let me have a little look at this a minute. The general... freedom of information. Yeah, this is freedom of speech, freedom of information. This is something that we must never underestimate the importance of. If have any of you ever read the book by George Orwell, 1984? A lot of people, I bet you've said, oh, I've heard of that book. Well, it's not a big book to read. George Orwell was born in the north of England, I believe, and his proper name was Eric Blair, I think. And he wrote about a world where nothing was private anymore. The state had a television in your room or a screen where they could watch over you, And they had the thought police and the speak police, and everything that you thought, did and said was monitored by the government. And it's a scary book when you look at it that way, because he dared to think, just to think outside of his restrictions, and it made him afraid. They weren't allowed to drink, and they weren't allowed to... It was all sorts of weird things going on. And it's a good book. It's easy to read. And there's also another one that he wrote, George Orwell, called Animal Farm, which is a book about communism, but they've used animals, farm animals, to depict the the world as it was under communism, when the farmer owned the farm and then the pigs took over the farm, and then the pigs ended up sending, they said, I think the phrase was, all of us are created equal, it's just that some of us are more equal than others. That was the pig saying that. And then they sent the horse to the knacker's yard to turn into glue, and so much for friendship, when it came to money and all sorts of things. So George Orwell was way out ahead of his time. I think he was in the 1940s or 30s or 40s, but anyway, freedom of information is a fundamental human right. It's the touchstone of all freedoms to which the United Nations is consecrated. This is the code of the Voice of America. We welcome the views of others. We seek a free flow of information across boundaries and oceans, across iron curtains and stone walls. We are not afraid to entrust American people with unpleasant facts, foreign aliens, alien philosophies, foreign ideas, and competitive values. For a nation that is afraid to let its own people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. And that's from 1946. And this is why it's so important that, so many people have foreseen this happening, where free speech is going to be shut down. Nobody should threaten somebody's life. That's not a good thing to do. But free speech is, well, I can't imagine my life without it. I wouldn't know what to do or say. Since I've been, down and up off YouTube, on and off, 10 times banned, whatever. Every time I come back, I'm a little bit nervous, stuttering a bit. I have difficulty being spontaneous because I'm afraid of what I might ramble on about. That's one of the things that was derogatory to the banning, and it was created by the bans. So if I was warned that I mustn't say anything, chances are I'm going to say it just out of pure nerves, if nothing else. Let me just show you my latest haters on X. Hold on. Just want to show you, that's our Prime Minister, as he is currently. I don't know what you think, but I think there's something mad in his eyes. The face that he's showing is not his real face. That's what I'm trying to say. There's something very deep inside that. Apparently, let's have a look. What if you could describe him in one word, what would it be? The end of freedom. Oh, look at that. Oh, I can't put my finger on it. You're hiding memes under your floorboards, are you not? A weak authoritarian, says Rob Boyd. Yeah, he's not liked, is he? Stasi Starmer, locking up grandmas for tweets, using the police to arrest people for tweeting, making people respect them far less, while people get stabbed in the street, and he still hasn't protected any child area. He's a weak man with the delusions of grandeur, says Sarah Jane 101. Do you want to see me banned? Yeah, he's not going down well. He's only been in a week. Just a week. Sorry, a month. It's not good. Oh, hang on, I wanted to show you. There's 3. Oh, I've got some fabulous support. On Twitter. I'm unable to join the interview. Oh, that's a funny fella. Hang on, let me just work it out now. I can't think of their names now. Mockingbird, I think one of them was. Mockingu. That's it. Here's one. Here's one of them. 1 following, no followers. Okay, take note of that one. Oh, it would, look at this, replying, because they get, Mrs. Grumpy up north stood up for me. Oh, it would be so easy for you if I were a bot, wouldn't it? Unfortunately for you and Wally, the old Welsh whore, her words, I'm not a bot. Days of running a prostitution service. She's proud of her sex trafficking other people's daughters and spreading her legs for money. Extras removed her old post where she calls herself an old whore. I did never call myself an old whore. I got a bit more respect for myself than that. That's the other one as well, Con B. She's following me, wants me to follow her back. She can get stuffed. But anyway, she's got 15 followers, so let's have a look who's following her. Ray of Sunshine, that's the one there. There's another one. Ray of Sunshine, Mockingbird, and CB. Always the same objectives. Trevor Colt, me. Trevor Colt, me. Back to Trevor Colt. And anyway, I think I know who these people are because they just recently got a bit of hot. They had this collars felt. Things got a little bit hot on their old accounts. And so they had to disappear, and they've come back, always in threes. Really weird, but it's always in threes. We've got Ray of Sunshine, Mocking You, and CB. You can find them now that I've showed you. And they will target me and send messages to YouTube saying that I'm trying to buy Xanax online. I'm selling Xanax, I'm using Xanax, I'm talking about drugs. I traffic children. I'm an old horse selling my sorry backside for £5. Honest to God, it really doesn't faze me because it's total load of bollocks. It's absolute rubbish. Unbelievable. If you knew about parlours, which I'm going to go into as soon as I just feel a little bit safer than I do right now, you'd understand that. Do you think that the police don't know you're there? Do you think it's secret? I was in a row of shops. Oh, hang on, I could even show you. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. 140 CRWYS. There we go. 140 Crewis Road. Well, why haven't I done this before? I should have showed you this ages ago. I got a terrible cold tonight, excuse me. I really have. I've been blowing my nose all day. There we are. Good God, that used to be a laundry, my halal. See Rapido Pizza? 140, a first floor flat. Yeah, we had two that's it, Rapido Pizza. I had those new windows put in. That one on the right looks like it doesn't have that's actually like a patio door. You could open the whole door and you could come out on top of the Rapido Pizza roof. And I had all new windows put in. They've painted that. It's still the same. Good God. Yeah. And that was coffee shop. Yeah, Audio Tea's still there. Let's see if I can have a look at the back for you. Scrap Malifant Street. Oh, there you go. What the hell? He's put a block of flats there. What a bastard. Do you know I was complaining about that? I wasn't going to allow him to have planning permission. But he's done it, the sly git. He used to own the Top Hat Laundry, which was here. This building, this long one here. And now he's got that big block of flats there. Well, never mind. It's none of my business anymore, is it? But that's the back of A1. If you look at the cream building, it's got a shed as well, a little shed there. I had that built. That's the back of A1, in between where that Top Hat is and that cream building. I had it had an outside toilet and a coal cellar. I had all that taken away, and I had an inside shower and toilet put in. So we had 2 toilets inside. I had all the windows done. I had all the floors tiled. I had so much work done to that place. So much work. That's where all the money went, I should say. But having said that, I thought to myself, well, I'm not going anywhere because I do follow the law. You know, this is it. I owned that building, lock, stock and barrel. And I thought, well, when I'm old and when I'm retired, I can sell it to, let's say, Rapido Pizza. That'll do. And then I've got enough money to invest for my retirement. That was the plan. Unfortunately, they didn't give me a chance. I mean, I was just about working it out to sort of get and do it because after I fell off that ladder, it was a nasty fall. And I wasn't right. I fractured my skull and everything was, my head was rattling. I could feel it. This is Dogfield Street. Wait then, let's see if I can see any more here. No, you can't see too much. Let me see. That's the back lane. I haven't looked at this place for ages. So of course I'm nothing much has changed. That's A1 there. Can't see too much now because that Brian, his name was, he was horrible. But anyway, I got my own back on him, but I'm not even going to tell you how. I couldn't. So that's the parlour. And if you own a building and you're running a brothel, you know, you're hanging on by the seat of your pants there. You better not do anything wrong, because the minute they shut you down, that's your income gone. Well, I had to remortgage my house to buy the parlour because I couldn't get a mortgage on the parlour. And all the money that I'd had before I went into the parlour, I'd had a car accident in Australia, but that's another smash on the head. That if I ever commit a murder, I'll put it down to my mental illness. Fractured skull. I went through a bloody passenger window with my head in Australia, and I had compensation. Well, my ex-husband, never gave me a penny when I left the marriage. Not a penny. He didn't even pay for Caris's school. You know, that's why I bought the parlour. I had to make the money work for me to get her a good education, because I had been expelled from school at like 13 or 40. I was only young. So I went back to school at 35 and did my degree, my O-levels first, my A-levels, the degree, at 37, I think. 34 to 30, 33 to 37. You know, never too late, is it? And I wanted my daughter to know that I did care about education. I wasn't just trying to make her do something that I was incapable of doing. I just went a bit off the rails when my mother got married, I think for the third time. That was when I ran away to London with my friend Premsel Hardwick. Oh, we went, first off, we went ice skating in Bristol. Now, I didn't have any money because I never got pocket money. And Premsel had a job in the BP and the Gulf Garage selling petrol down the road, so she had money. So we went on Premsel's money. So we went ice skating in Bristol first, then we got on the train and went to Winchester. We booked into a hotel, stayed for one night, and on the second night we jumped out the window down onto a fence and then hitched a lift up to London. This guy in a lorry felt sorry for us and gave us a £5, which we then went and had pie and mash and liquor. That's what they have in London, pie, mash and liquor, which is like green peas, mushy peas. And then we decided to come home because we had no money left. So we hitched a ride on the M4 and came back on a banana lorry. I know it was a banana lorry because he opened the back up and gave us, oh, was it a cucumber? Oh, gosh, I can't remember. I think it was a cucumber because we couldn't eat it. Yeah, it was a cucumber. He dropped us off at High Cross and we walked down into Newport, and my mother was working at the time for a television rental company called Radio Rentals. And I walked into the shop. Well, she cried. She did. Premsel was with me. Well, when Premsel's mother saw Premsel, oh, my darling Premsel, oh, and the treatment we got, me and Premsel, was completely different. I got kept in for a month and really was punished, you know. I mean, they couldn't really punish me much more. I didn't have pocket money, so I just had to stay in for a month. And Premsel, she had a load of new clothes bought her. Anyway, the headmistress of this all-girls school I was going to, me and Premsel, she said, well, you're obviously a bad influence on each other. One of you can stay and one of you must leave. So Premsel said, she said, I want to go because she was in love with Neil Reimer. She married him in the end. He was at the boys' school. I was at an all-girls school, and her boyfriend was at the all-boys school on the other hill. So I decided to stay, and Premsel decided to go. But when we had to bring letters to the headmistress, my mother had said the opposite. Think it's best she leaves. And Premsel's mother said I wanted to stay. So I ended up leaving. Premsel ended up staying, which was no big deal. It didn't matter. I didn't have any qualifications, but I was always pretty good at getting jobs. I never really failed an interview. Mind, I never tried to get a job that was out of my league. You know, never try and Anyway, I don't know why I went on with that. But anyway, I think that would explain the ease with which I bought the parlour. It was, to me, I had no respect for the sanctity of marriage. None. I mean, I did try getting married. I got him married to an American. I got married in Las Vegas. And Caris was born almost a year to the day afterwards. And the marriage was already wrecked because I had no idea how to make a marriage work. No idea. I mean, can you imagine? I had my mother was fantastic. Nothing will ever stop me worshipping my mother, but didn't exactly have a good family support system, a ground, stability. My grandmother was fantastic, and I lived with her for a while, and I lived with my uncle and auntie for a while, and I loved it there, and I lived in my grandmother's. But whenever I was home, it was just not good at all. And then, of course, Mum went on to have her fourth marriage, and it was after the fourth marriage that I bought the parlour, because I just didn't see it as anything that would offend anybody as long as my morals were intact. I didn't see it was my place to infringe my morals on anybody else, quite the opposite. Although I did get quite personal with some of the girls. There were some girls that worked there that were hoodwinking their boyfriends. Now, I didn't like that. I thought that was terrible, because it's not right to have that sort of thing going on. One of the girls, I think her name was Jasmine, she told her boyfriend she worked at selling double glazed windows. And she used to work the day shift, and she had plastic surgery as well. As soon as she earned enough money, she got her bingo wings sorted. You know what bingo wings are? Those flabby things that hang round on the top of your arm. So I got bingo rings. They're like two bloody zeppelins, mine are, like spaceships. But anyway, she used to tell him that. I used to say, one of these days you're going to come a cropper, and I don't think it's good. Maybe you just don't love him enough to be honest with him. And that was one of my pet hates. The other one was if the boyfriend knew and accepted it. That was just as bad. In other words, I didn't think that men should be involved in any woman's life, private life, if they worked in the parlour, because no good would come of it either way. And then then there was a mother and daughter that worked together. Well, God alive, I could not get my head around that. Never did. But Paige, as she was called, and her daughter was called Levi, those are not their real names. They became two of my greatest friends. And it was quite astonishing how I was able to have a relationship, a really close relationship, where when her husband hung himself, John, again, it's another story, isn't it? He hung himself. She came home from bingo and found him hanging from the top banister. Bloody hell. Anyway, I went to the funeral and everything. But I did go tie a bunch of roses on her back gate, when she wouldn't answer the door. And I'll talk about Paige again, because I absolutely adored Paige. Really, really adored her. She done the dirty on me, see? Thought I was away for the weekend, which I was, but I came back and checked the CCTV. Caught her nicking about 900 quid. Oh, dear God, what do you do, eh? What do you do? They think that you're cruel to sack them. How do they think it affects people like me, At that time, I'd already been bankrupted, and I was running the business on a cash basis, desperately trying to keep going. I was having to run. I had no bank account, so I had to run and pay my mortgage. Then I had to pay the telephone by cash. Very hard to do, but I was doing it. Right in the middle of the bankruptcy, and while I was fighting to keep the place open, this bloody leak came in the middle of the girls' lounge. Huge leak came through the ceiling, and we had a bucket there. And the girls were slipping over because the bucket was overflowing. And I said to the girls on the weekend, I said, if we make enough money this weekend, I promise you I'll get that leak done on Monday. That's how close we were to the poorhouse. That's how close we were. I was fighting the bankruptcy, but I didn't have any money. And it was that weekend that I came back on the Monday, and I was down my mum's, I was. When I came back, I thought, good God, we only had 9 customers in. Now, 9 customers would net me £180 because I get £20 a customer. I thought, I'm going to have a look at the cameras because it was the Ashes, the cricket, the Ashes. And I thought, they can't be right because they would have had lots of tourists into Cardiff. Cardiff's the capital of Wales. Oh, and I checked the camera. There was more like 150 people in, which would have been, oh, whatever, however much money. But it was almost £1,000. There was another girl working as well that was doing me as well, Sherry and Paige, and they were both the best workers in the world, and I had to sack them both, and I hated doing that because not only was they gone, but I had no staff then, no good staff that I could I'd known Paige for 3 years. Oh, God, what am I going on about? Anyway, see, God, I tell you, I've got to get some organisation in what I'm talking about because I do run off the rails. What am I, 35? I'm going to stop there because what I wanted to tell you more than anything was that I got 3 haters, and I want you to know who they are, so that if you're on X, keep an eye out. Don't follow her because she'll get ideas that you like her. Ray of Sunshine, that one. It's nothing. Ray of Sunshine, CB, that one, and the other one. Mocking You, something like Mocking You, isn't it? Mocking You. Oh, they're all connected, so it must be there somewhere. Anyway, you can see me replying, and I actually said to her, oh, she's replying to me there. I actually said, I turned a bit, I got a bit nasty tonight. And I said to her this one, I said, oh, hang on a minute, I think I know you. Weren't you the one who came to me looking for a job back in 2010? And I know I told you on the phone that looks didn't matter, but I couldn't quite get past those oozing boils on your face and the fact that you smelt like an old kipper. Oh. Oh, excuse me, I sneezed then, sorry. Oh, and I know it is childish, and I know, but it gives me enormous pleasure when I finally just turn a little bit, and I know who it is. I know who this person is. She went bloody nasty then, and I know who it is. Somebody that's quite vain, somebody that's got a YouTube channel, and butter wouldn't melt. Yes, you know the one. She was Smarty Pants 1973. Oh, Happy Hopper Ho, the big reveal. She's come out of the, I tell you what, she's had more accounts than I've had hot dinners. She's well, in fact, she admitted to somebody, who I'm not going to name right now, but she said, I work as a therapist. There you go, I've said it. And I've got to have somewhere where I can let off steam, because all the time, she said, I'm listening to other people's problems and exercising patience and caution and, niceness. And she said, it comes to a point where I've just got to go and blow off steam. Well, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I dare say I can understand that. And I'd like to understand this one, but I'd like to understand this one, but she's just so full of hate. And I think, should she really have the job that she is, or is she qualified? Does she need to see a psychiatrist herself? Because the amount of venom, and I was saying, I was saying, I bet you haven't got friends like I have, because I've got such lovely friends online. And don't think I don't realise this. Every day I think how lucky I am that I've never really come across a bad one. No, these ones are so... Oh, there we are, join Donald Trump's space. They're so obvious at the outset. There's no getting away from it. They hate you, they've come to hate you, and they're going to try and get you banned off YouTube and Twitter. Or they give up on Twitter now, but they're trying for YouTube. They're sending a... So... Look at this, Sadie. Many bullies have friends. Bullies love the power and affirmation they get. Make no mistake, Sadie, you are a bully and a hate monger, and you monetize that hatred because social media hate mongers pay better than being a 70-year-old Welsh hoe. Hang on a minute, I'm only 68, you know. Let's get that right. I'm not a whore either. And I'm not a hate monger. Well, the hate monger, I suppose you could put that down to my dislike of Meghan Markle, but bully? Psh, not really. I'm not a bully. I don't like, oh, hell, you don't know me at all, do you? So anyway, I've started answering now. There we are, not a bot, the only one here monetising. And I'm not monetised, and I don't intend to get monetised either. It's only a small thing, I know, but I just don't feel like doing it right now. Maybe I will, maybe. But when you're monetised, it leaves you even more nervous about what you're saying. It really does. I mean, they demonetised Trevor Colt, and he still stayed up. And I think he puts his PayPal up or something like that. Maybe I'll put a buy me a coffee up. Maybe I will. But I've got a couple of people on, well, more than a couple, on Patreon who support me every month. And thank you to every one of you. I've got to make one of those placards to put up at the end where they say thank you and give all your names. But at the same time, I just don't want anybody to say I don't want my name put out or anything like that. So I try and reach a happy medium, you know. But at monetizing YouTube, everyone that gives me money at the moment gives it me knowing it's going to me, and they give it to me knowing who I am. I'm not a whore, and I'm not 70. And I don't sell drugs. Oh, God help me. I tell you, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Listen, I've got a terrible cold tonight. I'm going to listen to this Trump. I'm going to make a nice cup of coffee now and listen to Trump's and Elon having a good old chinwag. I may even, you can request to join. And I might go on and say, I'd just like to say how much I admire both you boys. And I got to be honest, this is the only time in my life where I've actually disappointed that I'm Welsh. And I'd love to come and live in America and see it get great again. Or would you want to be our Prime Minister, please, Elon? Oh, something like that. I really would. And I mean it too. I really do. I see the good in... I put it this way. The way things are going at the moment with them clamping down on all our rights and freedom of expression and speech, we've got to look at the most... Even if you think Trump or Elon is bad, the best of a bad bunch. You've got to think of it as a personal thing as well. What can they do for me? I know it sounds selfish, but it isn't. Because in politics, nobody is really your friend. Your friend is your partner or your husband or your children. They are the people that love you. You've got to think of them and you only. What would do you the biggest disservice if you lost it? What would do you the biggest favour if you got it or kept it? Once you know what you want, you've got to look eeny, meeny, miny, mo and find the person that matches what you want, who talks in a language you can understand, who says things that appeal to you. And I'm not even American, but I was looking at Donald Trump and he was saying, oh, and he said it first, he said, I'm going to stop the tips I'm not going to tax the tips. I thought that's a bit mean anyway to tax tips, because the person that's tipping you has already paid the tax on that. Bloody hell, that's mean. But anyway, I'm going to stop the tax on tips and gratuities. Next thing, Kamala has her rally, and she says, I'm going to stop the tips on... Well, the difference being is Donald Trump has no power to do such a thing right now. Kamala Harris is acting president. She could do it tomorrow. So why is she saying I will fight to stop the tips? Is she unable to pass any laws while she's acting prime minister? President, I beg your pardon, president. Is she? Because seems a bit lame to say I'm going to do it when she's in a position to do it and doesn't do it. But, you know, the one that matches everything that I like and his respect and hope for the United Kingdom, and he knows what's going on, is both Elon and Donald. They won't forget UK. Maybe they're kidding, maybe they're lying, I don't know. Who knows? I know Biden was very attracted to the Irish people, not so much with the UK. I don't know, do they even know Wales exists? Well, I know you all do, because you've got no bloody choice. I put myself on the map. I'm in your face, but there you go, you know. Anyway, That's it for now. I will be back in a couple of hours. I feel like it's the Eurovision Song Contest or Miss World or something when I'm coming back after the voting. But I'm going to record it as well. But I won't play it back to you because some of you can't stand him. I get that. Some of you can't stand Elon. I get that. Some people even think Elon is the devil that's going to take over the world. I get that too. Everybody. I mean, square pegs for square holes. And I can't appeal to everybody either. Some people hate us and we don't know why. I mean, Stop Hate Conby 66. She loathes me. And the unfair thing is unfair. Is she knows who I am. She can even call me by my Christian name. Get on first name terms. Why are they unable or unwilling to tell you who they are? So that gives you, straight away, it gives you an advantage because whoever they are not willing to divulge their identity. Is it because they're ashamed of what they say? Is it because they know it's lies what they say and they don't want to be held accountable? Free speech doesn't stretch to this. You know, this is, to me, this is hate speech. And I'd like to say to her, look, less of the whore, less of the 70, and I don't traffic young children. Well, you know, God, I shouldn't have to defend myself to the likes of her. Bugger off, Conby. You smell like a kipper. Anyway, I'll see you later. Thank you for listening. I've really gone off track tonight, and I'm very sorry about that, but sometimes I just can't stop myself. I'll catch you later. Not too long now, couple of hours maybe. Thanks for listening. I love you all. Cheerio!